Yeah.
We have Ross Stripling now available.
It's so hard not to look at myself. Dang, Bieber went 8 shutty, 13 Ks. He's killing it. I'm ready. Ready when y'all are.
First question from Jack Harris. Go ahead, Jack.
Hey, Ross. Just how would you describe your stuff tonight? It seemed like, you weren't getting a lot of swing and misses, but also staying away from hard contact. It was one of those nights where you're just trying to go as long as you can and avoid as much damage as you can.
I actually thought I held my stuff longer this outing than I did last outing. If you remember, I went out in like the 4th last outing and was like 87 for my first couple of pitches. I don't really feel like I hit that lull today, despite our guys having long at bats again. So I was able to kind of keep my energy and strength throughout the outing, which I am encouraged by. And then that's just kind of these guys. There's not really a ton of swing and miss with this lineup. They don't punch out a lot, and obviously I've faced them my whole career, so they got a good idea of what's coming. So definitely was trying to pump strikes. I know I wasn't super sharp, at least location wise, but I felt like my stuff was good, and held them at bay through 5, and then that didn't finish as strong as I would have liked, but overall I feel good about the outing.
Yeah. I mean, a week into the season now, just being back in the rotation, how much do you enjoy just the routine of being able to go every 5 days and be in that starter's role again?
Yeah, I love it. And really both of them are so fun between the bullpen and the rotation, but I definitely like the rotation one more. Being in the dugout with the guys, obviously get the off days to recover, and then, the idea of trying to get a lineup out 3 times, I just feel like has always fit my arsenal a little better. So I do like being in the rotation more. Obviously that's kind of the best gig in the big leagues for sure. But, the bullpen is fun in its own way too. Like, you're kind of part of your own little crew, and you kind of feel like you're locked in every day versus those days where you're not pitching, you're just kind of a cheerleader, So, but, to answer your question, yeah, loving the rotation and definitely striving to stay in there.
Cool. Thanks.
Yeah, thanks, Jack.
Next question from Alana Rizzo. Go ahead, Alana.
Ross, this bullpen's been ridiculous, but as far as the starting staff is concerned, you've given this team the deepest outings in your 2 starts this season. What does that mean for you?
Well, it was a priority over the quarantine. I wanted to come in built up, one, because I thought it gave me a good chance to make the rotation and to get a lot of innings early, whether I was in the rotation or not. Guys that built up were going to be guys that we relied on. So I wanted to come in, at 3 innings, and then was able to use the summer camp to work up to basically 6 full innings at 80-something pitches. So then to, be able to go 7 strong in the first one and now into the 6th. In this one, obviously, like I said, I didn't finish it as strong as I would have liked. I mean, I hit a guy with a curveball, hit a guy in the head with a curveball to start the 6th isn't always a good way to start. But, definitely encouraged with the ability to get through the lineup multiple times right now, get, somewhat deep into games and kind of hold my strength for 90 pitches or so. So, definitely feeling good so far.
Yeah, Joe Davis joked that you were going to be suspended 100 games for that 79-mile-an-hour curveball on Marte, but the Martes gave you a couple of fits today. 14 pitch at bat in that first inning. What would you do differently against those guys in particular without kind of tipping your hand to them?
Yeah, sure. Well, K-Tel, obviously I faced over the last couple of years. He's got a good idea of what my pitch arsenal is and then what I'm trying to do on him. If anything, I probably just stayed away from him too much. I didn't really do much on the inner half to him, so I feel like he probably got comfortable just kind of looking out over, and obviously put a good swing on that homer. And then Starling, a guy that I haven't faced much at all. He doesn't walk a lot, so I guess I could have maybe expanded a little bit more than I did. But that 14, 15 pitch at bat, whatever it was there in the first, was a good battle. So good that I ended up winning and getting out there, getting him out there. But as far as what I can do different now that he's seen me, I'll, need to dive into the scouting report a little bit more, see what our righties do against him the rest of the series. That way next time I pitch him, I might have a little better of a plan.
This outing was more of a workmanlike outing than something that was seemed free and easy. But do you take some positivity out of that, knowing that even if you don't have your best stuff, you were still able to go as deep as you did and keep the damage to such a minimum?
Yeah, for sure. It's definitely encouraged with that. I think, it's good to kind of be able to turn around and see some 92, 93s there in that last inning, something that really haven't had maybe since 2018 to be able to keep velocity like that or even to have velocity like that. So whenever you have a few more ticks on your fastball, kind of opens up the arsenal a little bit. And then obviously this new changeup, these guys, the Diamondbacks, like I keep saying, they've seen me plenty over the last few years, but now to throw a new wrinkle in there was the changeup. Got Escobar to swing through a couple, and maybe got Calhoun out on one. So, just kind of to keep developing as a pitcher and keep showing hitters that see me often new stuff and keep them off balance.
Thank you, Ross.
Thanks, Alana.
Next question from Ron. Go ahead, Ron.
Hey, Ross. When you're going through, you mentioned the Marte at bat early on, the 14 pitch at bat. I mean, just what's that like as a starter, knowing you mentioned how deep you've been able to go in games, but to have to kind of battle through that and persevere and know, what that might take out of you early on. What's that like?
Yeah, especially right off the bat, first inning, just 14 pitch at bat, just kind of saying uncle a little bit, like put the ball in play, man. If you're going to get a hit, just do it already, especially when I'm throwing the kitchen sink at him. I think I threw him multiple curveballs, multiple changeups, multiple sliders in that at bat, and he was just kind of fouling them off and giving me fits, So it stinks now looking back because I probably could have stayed out for the sixth and tried to, keep it at 2 runs there. But because of that 14 pitch at bat, basically I get pulled because of pitch count, and AK comes in and it went how it went. So, now looking back, it would have been nice to maybe get earlier contact there, and I could have tried to finish my own outing, but that's the way it goes.
And then the bats obviously helped you guys. Obviously what AJ has kind of gone through the last few months. What's it been like to see him perform the way that he has so far early this year?
It's awesome. I mean, my gosh, our lineup is so stacked. And you think about AJ Pollock there hitting towards the bottom end of the lineup is just incredible at how good he was here when he was a Diamondback, and then to have kind of the goofy year last year with the the infection that he had and missed multiple months, and then now to be able to come back this year and get off to a great start after a stressful quarantine, having a baby in 20 weeks, and it's awesome. AJ's such a good dude, such a good locker room guy, and someone we love having around. So to see him, living up to what we're used to seeing is definitely fun to see.
Thanks, Ross.
One more question from Eric. Steven, go ahead, Eric.
Hey, Ross, you mentioned taking pride going deep into the games, especially early in the year. Do you put more pressure on yourself after the bullpen throws 15 innings the last 2 nights?
Yeah, for sure. Well, I mean, man, that was just kind of a tough travel day in general, playing 13 innings in Houston and like basically an overnight flight. I didn't really get in my bed here in Arizona until like 3 a.m. So, normally you get to fly out early, but that's just not what we're doing this year. So, just kind of a lot of things working against us in this game, and including the bullpen going so deep or I guess covering so many innings there in Houston and doing an unbelievable job. But yeah, I wanted to come out and be efficient and at least work, into the 6th and 7th again if I could, and give those guys a little bit of break. I'm sure half of them were probably down today. So, at least be able to take the bulk of the game and take some pressure off them. And then our lineup did it too, scoring runs early and getting us off to a good lead and easing our nerves a little bit. So definitely feel good about that today. And man, hopefully our bullpen keeps it rocking because they're doing great right now.
Thanks, Ross.
Thanks, guys. Thanks, Juan.
Nice job, Dave.
Thanks, Al.
Great job, sir.
Is Dave Roberts now available?
Good. Thought, no, no.
I just felt that, I was surprised they took him out. I just felt that you threw the ball, you going, getting in the 6th inning.
Okay, guys, we have Dave Roberts here. Please raise your hand. If you have a question. First question, Alana Rizzo. Go ahead, Alana.
Dave, Ross was leaving the room as you were coming in. What conversation did you have with him, and what did you think of his overall job tonight?
I thought he did a fantastic job. I think he held his stuff. The changeup was good, breaking ball. I love the way he changed quadrants with the fastball. Really, I thought that he would have really gotten through that 6th inning if it wasn't for that Marte at bat early. Marte did a really nice job. I think it's a 12-13 pitch at bat. But for Ross to regroup and that at bat, get him out and give us a strong outing. But to get some runs early was huge. But we needed a little bit of length tonight from Ross.
What can you say about the at-bat quality, particularly in this game? I mean, it seems like Corey Seager has been locked in since summer camp, and A.J. Pollock hasn't missed a beat either.
Tonight was a really good night. Robbie Ray has given us fits at times. He didn't have the best command, and so for us to continue to wait him out, and when he does make a mistake over the plate, A.J., Corey made him pay. And, we earned, 8 to 10 walks tonight. So, getting those free passes, seeing the bullpen, getting deeper in the bullpen today in a 4-game series was huge.
Thank you, Dave.
All right, next question comes from Jack Harris. Jack, go ahead.
Hey, Dave. Mookie had a couple kind of key plays on the base paths tonight. I mean, how much of his ability there is just like his pure speed and athleticism, and how much is it his intelligence and IQ in those situations to know when to go for that extra bag?
I would say most of it is baseball IQ, and that's kind of every facet of the game. There's a skill set that Mookie does have, but whether it's on the bases, just being in tune with expecting, predicting, anticipating what's going to happen, he's very good at that. And you even saw defensively, he made a couple plays look really easy that were pretty difficult.
Was Kenley just down because of the 3 straight games he threw in?
Yeah, it was two games in a row, so to have him down the 3rd game, we wanted to stay away from that. Same thing with Alexander, or I think Alexander went deep, but Ferguson and Trinan, yeah.
Like a week into the season now, I mean, you guys are 5-2. How would you evaluate, these first 7 games, which is a small sample size, but it's already, more than 10% of the season?
We've really pitched well. I think that's the thing that I'm probably most pleased with. The starting pitching, the pen really has stood out, but we prepare every night to win a game, and the preparation never wavers. But I think the pitching has really stood out.
Is there still space, especially when you see, Cody hasn't really clicked in yet, and even Mookie's bat isn't, quite at its peak? Is there still space offensively? You see room for improvement, even pretty soon?
Absolutely. That's the nice thing about having length to your lineup, where Cody and Mookie haven't got on track yet, and you can still, be up there in the league lead as far as teams in the National League, as far as runs scored. So we're still being productive, but certainly having those 2 guys, get those guys going, it's going to be a lot of fun.
Thank you.
Yep.
Next question is from Ron Kavner. Go ahead, Ron.
Hey, Dave. Especially when you consider everything AJ's kind of gone through for the last few months, what have you thought about the way he's started the year offensively?
AJ's done great, and I don't know how he's been able to compartmentalize what's going on in his life. His baby has been in the NIC unit, get to take her home, and traveling to Arizona to meet up with his wife and get the baby home, and to come back and to kind of not miss a beat. It's remarkable. And AJ's a guy that just does everything right. So it's really good to see him get off to a good start.
Thank you.
Next question is from Eric Steven. Go ahead, Eric.
Dave, just wondering, how did Clayton's side session go today?
Really good, really good. It was probably 30, 32. Really good. Ball was coming out well, used his entire mix. We look forward to him pitching soon, Eric. So we're really encouraged.
And in terms of when that might be, is that something where you kind of wait to see how he feels tomorrow and after that?
Yeah, we're going to wait to see how he feels tomorrow, Eric. Thank you. Thank you for asking.
The other question, with Victor Gonzalez getting added, I'm assuming at least one other person came with Tony Gonsolin to Phoenix. Is that right? And are they added to your taxi squad?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
No.
But at some point, like, someone might be added to the taxi squad.
Yeah, someone's going to be added, and then we also have to obviously make a move, and we haven't decided that move yet tonight.
Great.
For tomorrow.
Thank you.
Yep.
A question from Alana. Go ahead, Alana.
Dave, circling back to Seager for just a second, not many people give him fits, but for whatever reason, Robbie Ray has given him fits in his career. Have you noticed anything differently with him, and particularly the at-bat he took against him tonight, that perhaps he figured Ray out?
I wouldn't say he figured him out, but I will say that, traditionally with Corey, he's very aggressive, and Robbie Ray traditionally to Corey hasn't thrown him any strikes. And, Corey's got himself into some bad counts. And, when you're working behind a guy that has really good stuff and he's always ahead in the count, it's tough sledding. And I think that Corey is, over the last, 5, 7, 8 at bats, I think he's been a little bit more patient and got him in the strike zone, which has led to some slug.
Finally, for me, Doc, you had said you might have an update on Alex Wood after the game.
Yeah, so Alex, it was supposed to not pick up a baseball for a week. So I think we just wanted to let that inflammation subside and see where it takes us. So right now he's still in kind of just hanging out right now and letting his arm rest.
Okay, thank you.
You got it.
One final question for Doc from JP Hornstrom. Go ahead, JP.
Hey, Dave, Pedro Baez hasn't been on the mound in a lot of safe situations. Just wondering what made him the guy for you in that situation tonight.
I think, looking at who we had available tonight, you could look at Joe, Pedro, and I just felt that Joe potentially could have given us 4 outs. So in a situation where we needed to get somebody out of an inning, and I didn't want Pedro to go 1+ tonight specifically. And we've been using Pedro, leaning on him a lot. So to put him at the back end, number one, I trust him as well as Joe, but to put him at the back end to make sure he doesn't have to get up. And once he does get up, we can make sure he gets in the game. But they both were great tonight.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Thanks, Doc. We'll have AJ Pollock here in a second.
Thanks, guys. Thanks, Joe.